If you told me 10 years ago that in 2024, I would be inside of a Subway restaurant with my own computer repair shop, filming a YouTube video for 1.6 or 1.7 million subscribers, I would have thought you were crazy. But here I am. I'm inside a Subway, paying $1,900 for rent, with my own computer repair shop, and I'm making a video to sum up my 2024 experience. Thanks to you guys. Don't worry about the days without an accident. It's been a while. I guess first I'll give you a tour of the repair shop. We'll start off with this guy. This is the last guy that asked me for help with an HP laptop. You see how that ended. No, but really, this is the reception area where I used to do consultations. People used to come in and I used to sit down with them and I used to hear their problems like a therapist, and I used to solve them. This is what I was good at. This is why I was successful, was because my ability to talk to people one-on-one and actually like hear them and listen to them and explain complex problems, kind of break it down for them. That's the success of my repair shop. When I say I'm
the greatest technician that's ever lived.
It's not true. Everybody knows that's not true. That's just a joke. It's a meme. And if you don't know that's a joke, seek help. My true ability that I excel in is being able to talk to people. That's what made the business successful. And of course, actually being able to fix stuff was a big thing too. Behind not Lupe here, rest in peace Lupe, the remnants of Lupe. He's sick, so make sure to cash app Lupe G1. So this is the prop area. This is a sink and a trash barrel, if you're not familiar. You're probably not familiar with a sink or any sort of shower water device, any sort of cleansing device. This is all the laptops that we're gonna sell. So after they've been refurbished, we put them here. I personally change every single thermal paste on these guys with my tiny raccoon-like fingers. We use PTM 7950. We're doing more laptop sales now. Instead of repairs, we're doing more sales because I'd rather sell you something that won't break than have you come to me in 3 years with something that did break because you should have bought something from SalemTechsperts.com. This is, don't worry about this. This is gonna be a video. Actually, I shouldn't be touching this with my bare hands if you wanna actually get in there and see why. Yeah, so that's gonna be a tricky one. You guys thought that was a once in a lifetime thing, the video last week. No, it's not. Every single gaming laptop I get, that's what happens. This is where we keep all the stuff, all the inventory. I mean, our memes. Shout out to Lupe, he did all that. The safe, don't you worry about what's in the safe. Our old test bench, our new test bench, backpacks. This is our Flexispot table that is so clutch. Shout out to Flexispot for giving us this table. It's friggin' awesome. This is also Lupe. This is one of his many shells. Again, poor guy is sick. Shout out to Lupe, cash app, Lupe G1. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today to record this video with me to give our 2024 roundup, but he will be at CES with me, so that's gonna be fun. I have a lot of questions about all these laptops that are up here. These two are new. We're gonna be doing a video on how tough is a tough book. How tough is a tough book? You're gonna find out after we get back from CES. These two laptops are these three laptops I'm actually working on. These guys, I'm gonna make a video in the future. The Toshiba Cosmio and the Gateway FX. These are old gaming laptops from like 2010 or something like that, 2008, one of those eras. So that's gonna be a future video. And I mean, it's the workbench. This place is tiny. I don't know if you guys understand that. This place is very, very, very small. It's not big at all. So the lighting is the best. The lighting obviously isn't the best because, you know, I am in the closet of Subway. I'm in the, So yeah, this is a real repair shop. This is how it looks. It's a little messy at times. It doesn't get cleaned up as much as it should because we're just so busy. So that's the tour of the shop. Now, how the hell did I get here? How did you end up in the closet of a Subway? So while I discuss that, I'm actually gonna take the display off this old MacBook because this has a logic board problem, so I'm gonna part it out. But in 2015, I was working at a computer repair shop a few towns away. It was like a 45-minute drive, and it was not a very good repair shop. They were not good people. They exploited people. They were like the scumbags that everybody warns you about in this industry. And I was the manager of that repair shop, and they screwed me over a few times. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna open up my own repair shop with blackjack and hookers. So I was looking for a spot for a few months, probably like 6 months. Even back then, the rent was atrocious. So what I wanted to do, I wanted a retail space where people can walk in that had parking, and I didn't want to be shoved in the middle of nowhere, because the reason a lot of these businesses fail, back then at least, was because you're located in the middle of nowhere and you're kind of hard to get to. No one knows where you are. I wanted to have that foot traffic, that kind of, it's really easy to come into my shop. So I didn't want to settle on something that did not have parking and retail space and windows, signage and all that stuff. I did have a existing customer base because I was doing side jobs here and there. I did not go to school for this. That's another question I always get. I did not go to school for this. This was entirely YouTube and Google. That's how I learned everything. So shout out to everybody that actually answered questions in those threads where they have a problem and then they solved it and they actually come back to answer how they solved it. Because no one ever does that. So shout out to you guys. You guys are the ones that made it so I can open a repair shop and make a career off of this. So I couldn't afford the rent that other places were asking for. It was like $3 grand a month for a tiny little hole in the wall in the middle of nowhere. I was at a crossroads. What the hell do I do? I came to Subway every single day for breakfast because I lived right down the street from here. I don't live there anymore. The Subway owners, cool family, the Otolia family, they were the nicest people I've ever met in my life. So of course, when you go somewhere every single day for something, you end up talking to the owners, getting to know them and all that stuff. And this was a yogurt shop before. None of this existed. There was freezers right here. There was refrigerators and stuff right here. There was a giant machines back here, and this wall wasn't here. In my earlier videos, you can see that this wall didn't even exist. There was nothing. This was all one big open area, and there was a few seats over there out where the reception area is, and he used it as an ice cream shop. We got to talking, and I told him, he asked me what I do, and I said, I fix computers and all that good stuff. He said, do you do surveillance? And I said, no. I did their surveillance, and while I was doing it, he asked me, hey, do you know anybody who would like to rent out this space? I said, you know what? What if I opened up a computer repair shop inside your store? And at first he was like, well, what? This guy is clearly on drugs. How would I trust him with my surveillance system? I've made a huge mistake. And then once that passed after 5 seconds, he said, huh, that's not a bad idea. Let's see what I can do. And God bless him, Bob. Shout out to Bob. He's not watching this video. Bob is the man. Bob and Maria. They fought Subway because they liked my idea and they said, you know what, that's a great idea. And Subway was totally against it, did not want it, too much liability, blah, 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 blah. And he said, you know what, this is it's subleased anyways. The ice cream shop was subleased under his name. I'm not gonna get into the details, but in October of 2015, I moved in and rent was only $900 a month, which at that time was high. Everybody thought I was crazy paying that. But I knew my idea was the amount of foot traffic that comes into this place. When I was doing the surveillance, I saw how many people came in this place and they were super busy. And they sit down and they eat. And when they sit down and eat, what do? You look around. If you're not on your phone, you look around. And if you see some guy in the corner that's fixing stuff and you see the customers interacting with him and seeing that he actually fixes stuff well, customers saying thank you instead of what the hell, giving back my money. You remember that. That was my idea going into it. I need to make sure I do a really, really good job because some sketchy guy inside of a Subway fixing God knows what. I fixed everything. Consoles, phones, literally anything I fixed. That was the idea. It advertises itself. They'll remember that. When something breaks, they'll be like, huh, there's that guy in Subway. So I opened up in October of 2015 and I have been here since. Now, when I first opened, I paid my brother-in-law to build the half wall that was here, which I'll show up in the clip right here. There was a little half wall. There was the cash register was over where the old man in the HP is right now. The place looked entirely different. I had a little red couch, the casting couch that was out in the reception area with a TV that we would play video games on back in the day when it was slower. And times were good. My initial investment was, I think, around $3 grand. And I put that all on a credit card, which I don't advise anybody ever doing. I never use my credit card. I hate having any sort of debt. I put it on my credit card and I ended up paying it back within 2 months. So I was fortunate enough to be able to turn a profit after 2 months because word of mouth got around and because this place was so busy and there was really a lack of repair shops in my area and people were willing to pay the prices that I was charging. I charged like nothing, like dirt. I wanted to keep it very low to kind of entice the people to come and repair stuff with me and remember, oh, he has fair prices. That was one of my main things. And kind of like a crack dealer, you start off with low prices and then you slowly, increase as your time becomes more valuable and you start getting more customers, you have to increase your profit. And that's what I did. I increased my rate slowly over time. But it started off with nothing, man. I was working 12-hour days here. It was rough. I was learning everything on the go. It was all just me doing all this alone. It was a struggle. It was tough, but I stayed in there. Ended up becoming, good. I was able to pay my rent, pay my bills. I didn't have to worry about a boss yelling at me or telling me that I should remove a hard drive and replace it with a broken hard drive or something like that. I didn't have to be a piece of shit. And being a piece of shit goes against my natural way of doing things. So it was nice. I loved the freedom. It ended up getting super busy. 2017 is when I had like 12, 13 repairs every single day. I also repaired phones. And during this time was like the golden age of phone repair, because that's when the iPhone 6 was out, the iPhone 6S was out, and they were super easy to repair, though the parts were unreliable, which is why I don't repair phones anymore. And the parts were a lot cheaper back then, so it made more sense to repair your stuff rather than go through insurance and all that stuff. So my business was booming. It was great. Once COVID hit, it got a little too crazy for me. So in 2020, I called my friend Lupe, and I said, Lupe, what are you doing? Are you still with my wife? And he said, yes. I said, okay, that's fine. Do you want to come help me out at the shop? Lupe is not an advanced technician, but he is a basic technician. So he can do basic troubleshooting, OS installs, all that stuff. And at the time, I really just needed an ass in a seat. I needed someone just to hold it down. And Lupe was like, you know what, dude, I'll help you out. You don't even have to pay me. And I said, fantastic. Because I didn't have money to pay somebody. And that was my struggle throughout all these years, is I just barely had enough money to save up to make it worthwhile owning my own business. Because what the hell is the point if I have 3 people working for me and I'm making less than I would if I worked for somebody else? It just didn't make sense to me. So Lupe came in around 2020, and that's when we got busier than I've ever been in my life. This was a great time financially. I know it was a horrible time for everything. Can you hold these keys? So I made more money during COVID than I did throughout a lot of months. It was crazy, but it was also incredibly stressful. I did get COVID twice, so that was great. The mental stress though, that's when I would say I got burned out. Was 2020 is when I really was just done dealing with people. I was done dealing with unrepairable BS. It was the time in my life where I didn't know what I wanted to do with the business. I was seriously contemplating getting rid of this place and doing something else for work. I used to have an open area, so the bench was right here and there was a half wall. I'll show it in the video. And while I'm working, people would talk to me from Subway while I'm working. And the idea of that was a purposeful idea when I initially started, because I wanted people to see what I'm doing. That transparency is something that lacks, and that level of trust is something that a lot of repair shops don't have, which I don't blame them, man. The worst thing you can do with a mechanic is watch him work, right? Mechanics say they'll charge you more if they watch you do it, or if you watch them do it. I kind of was on the opposite end of that. I said, you know what? People will trust me more if they can see how I do my job and what I'm doing. And it was great. I could talk to them and answer their questions while I'm doing work. It was great. Until it wasn't. It was great until I had 5 people lined up right here, and every single one of them was trying to fight for my attention and answer all these questions. Hey, quick question. I talk about it now, it was bad back then. It was really bad. I'm not blaming anybody, that's a customer is gonna do that. So what I ended up doing is I met somebody named George Tully. He is one of the greatest supporters that ever lived. He's the greatest friend that's ever lived. This guy is the nicest person I've ever met. Shout out to George, he is the man. He said, you know what, we should build a half wall. Because at the time, Subway Bob wouldn't let me build a full wall because of code issues and all this stuff. So we built a half wall. We raised it up just a little higher. It was about as high as this. And the noise was also tough. I was trying to make phone calls and stuff, and I couldn't even hear what I was saying, and people would just hear babies crying and people vomiting up, salami and stuff. That was awesome. George came in, he did all that. He built this wall, the half wall. He reinforced my bench. He did the reception area. That reception area didn't even exist. And I wanted that too, so that if I was gonna have a consultation with somebody, I could just come over here and just one-on-one just talk while, Lupe sat out there in the reception area telling people, yes, we fixed this, no, we can't fix this. It was great. So shout out to George for that. That was kind of the second stage of the growth. Around this time, I think it was 2021, I started kind of stepping back, and that's when I entered a dark phase of burnout, where it was just fuck everybody, fuck this fucking industry. I don't want to do this shit anymore. I'm not taking in this repair, go fuck yourself. You know, because at this time too, we were dealing with insane defect rates on phones, which I'll show a clip here of all the defects I got within like a 2-month period. It was just nuts. It was every single day somebody was coming back because their screen didn't work. Even though it worked when I gave it to them and we tested it for an hour beforehand, they would come back. It was a pain, man. And it took a toll on me mentally. It took a toll on all my relationships because I'm at the fucking store for, you know, 13 hours, 14 hours, and it's not, I plateaued. I wasn't increasing profit. It was just a plateau of just a fucking constant grind. It was not cool. And it took a toll on Lupe too. Lupe is like, dude, I'm helping you out for free and like, it's getting fucking crazy here. I don't know if I can handle this shit anymore either. So 2021 is also when I started getting involved in Right to Repair because I was now personally, my business was being affected by the fact that I couldn't get genuine parts or reliable parts, and it was starting to affect my life and my mental well-being as well as my financial well-being. And this is the time when Louis Rossmann was going ham on Right to Repair, man. This guy dedicated his entire life to fighting for Right to Repair, and he was doing like a tour of Massachusetts. So I was already a fan of Louis. I watched him rant about all this BS that we deal with, and every single time I watch this video, I'm like, dude, thank God somebody's like telling it how it is, because we really didn't have a voice. Repair shops didn't have a voice. Louis is in a very specific niche too, because he does motherboard repair, and I'm just some guy. I'm just a part swapper, right? That's the majority of what I do. I just swap parts and I talk to people, which has shown you that you can be very, very successful if you do that. I guess back in the day, now you really can't because you can't even swap parts anymore, but aside the point. He came by with his Massachusetts repair shop tour, and I'll show a clip right here, and he talked to me, he interviewed me. And I ended up getting my senator to sign on to the Right to Repair bill in Massachusetts that ended up shitting the bed because we prioritized a gambling bill over it, so that's cool. But when he was here, he asked me, why don't you start a YouTube channel? He asked me that, and I'm like, well, you know, I value my privacy. I don't like people knowing stuff about me. It weirds me out. So then I went home that day, and I thought to myself, well, why the fuck don't I have a YouTube channel? Like, let me actually think of it. What am I scared of? My business is already public. Everything's public. At the time, my main concern was like, I didn't want bad reviews. I didn't want people to troll me. How do I put this lightly? There's a lot of assholes. There's a lot of douchebags. There's a lot of condescending pieces of shit people that disagree with you, and they will try to just ruin your life because they disagree with some small thing you said about a fucking NVMe, or you don't like Linux or something like that. I use Arch, by the way. So that's what I was afraid of, was the reputation of my store and my financial well-being was going to be affected if I started a YouTube channel. But I said, well, you know what, fuck it. So I recorded a shitty video. It was a video of a water-damaged iPhone I think Apple said they couldn't fix, and the guy came here for me to fix it, and I was able to just unplug one cable and fix it. And it was, Apple told him like, all your stuff's gone, you'll never be able to recover this, it's stuck in a boot loop, we need to wipe your phone. And he was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on a second. He came here, all I had to do was unplug the Face ID flex, I think it was, the front prox flex. You guys don't care about that. I rescued his phone, I got his data back, and I made a video on like, why the hell is this still a thing? We need Right to Repair, so I have access to the same tools that they do, blah, blah, blah. I meant to private that video. I meant to just upload it so I can see like the analytics, like see what it was about. So I uploaded at like 12 a.m. on a Wednesday or something. I wake up the next morning, and apparently Louis found the video and he shared the video, and I have like 1,000 subscribers overnight. And I'm like shitting myself because it was a terrible video, man. It was a miserable video. The lighting was terrible. Everything was bad about this video. But shout out to Louis, he shared it. And because the message was still valid, it was a valid message. And once that happened, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll mess around with making YouTube videos. One of my best friends at the time, not at the time, he's now one of my best friends, Rich Rebuilds. Rich is a big YouTuber. So back when I met him, he was during his growth phase on YouTube. So I kind of saw his journey, his adventures or whatever, all that stuff. And it always intrigued me, but I was like, dude, there's no way I can do this. I like saw the lessons that he was going through and all that stuff, and I said, you know what, I'll try it out. I'll try it out myself. I'll try to make educational videos, which I did. I tried to make educational videos, and they bombed. No one cared. I don't blame them. They're boring. I don't even watch educational videos like that either. They're boring. I don't want to watch them. So I thought to myself, what if I made content that I would want to watch? Like humorous content, like comedic content about the day-to-day life of owning a repair shop. And I started doing that. And the long form videos is how I started doing that, which again, they didn't take off, you know, a few subscribers here and there. I started making short videos, short educational videos. And you always wonder, how did I get so unhinged? How did I lose my mind and start insulting people, right? How did that formula even happen? And it's because I was making these videos and I was getting those comments, those toxic comments about just everything. People just being douchebags and condescending, nasty IT guys, the stereotypical IT guy that's miserable all the time and takes it out on other people and thinks they know everything. I was getting all those comments. So there's one video, it was a MacBook Air screen replacement, where I let it out, man. I was directly talking to those people. I insulted their mothers. I just started just going ham on them. And people fucking loved it. People loved being insulted for some reason. Obviously, other people found it funny too. So I started making more shorts. And this was at a time where YouTube was really pushing shorts down your throat. Not as much as they're doing now, but back then they were too. So I doubled down. I started making more short form content and I started going on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I just posted on everything and it got absolutely nowhere. Got nowhere. For months I was making these videos, no one cared. And then I made a video about a Russian computer that came in this repair shop. The guy had it built in Russia like probably a year before, and then he moved here. He brought his computer here and he was complaining that it was overheating. And when we looked in, it was a sticker. The sticker was still on the CPU. That video, for no reason at all, just went through the roof, just skyrocketed. That was in 2022, I think, early 2022. I don't even remember, man. Every day is a year in my opinion. When that video took off, everything else started taking off. All the old videos I made started taking off, and then that's when I said, you know what, maybe I can start making more videos like this. So that's it. I started doubling down on the videos. I got monetized on TikTok, was the first one. I got monetized on YouTube, even though YouTube doesn't pay anything for shorts. It's like $100 for 1 million something views. You guys know the story from there. That's how the videos started. And I was doing repairs every single day, running the repair shop and doing the videos at night. So if I got a repair in, I would record it, and then I would go home. I would stay up till probably 3 a.m. editing it. I would release it, and I did that schedule probably for about 6 or 7 months. And at that time, I told my girlfriend, this is gonna be tough, but you have to bear with me on this. I think this could be something. And she was like, okay, because she wasn't seeing me. Like I would come home, I would shovel fucking ramen down my throat, go upstairs, and I would edit for 3-4 hours on one short, because writing the script, doing the voiceover, doing all that stuff, finding the groove, that's what I would do. And then I would release it the next day. And I did that every single fucking day. Now I don't do shorts every day. Now I rely, oh, I just touched my skeleton. Now I do the long form videos because I have sponsors. So shout out to all my sponsors. They make it worthwhile where I can do YouTube as a full-time career now. I did that during my growth period. Doing the shorts every single day was the growth period. And then I wanted to do more of long form because I always liked the long form more. So what's in store for next year? The repair shop has evolved, obviously, more into a YouTube channel because now I make more on YouTube than I did in 1 week on YouTube. I make more than I did 1 month at the shop in terms of profit. I built this entire channel on an iPhone 12 and an iPhone 13 mini. So everybody that's gonna ask what equipment I use and all that stuff, nothing. The whole idea of this channel was to be as genuine as possible and to be as like raw as possible to give you a better idea of like what it's actually like. So I never focused on, you know, kind of the MKBHD aspect where it's like visually you are the GOAT. I am far from that. Like visually and sound wise, even now, this mic probably sounds like garbage, but that was kind of one of my things. I just want to show it to you how it is. You know, the content needs to sell itself. Eventually maybe I'll get better equipment or whatever, but right now I have no plans to do that. But what are my plans for 2025? You've seen how the store has gone in 2024, and to bring you up to date, as of June, I pretty much stopped taking in repairs. So I locked that door when June came. I went on vacation, and that's when I kind of had my coming to Gooch moment when I said, you know what, fuck this. I am just gonna do YouTube stuff. So I'm gonna do mail-in repairs, and I'm gonna just take in the repairs that I wanna do. And even then, or even now, I stopped doing mail-in repairs. I'll only do mail-in services for like thermal paste replacement because the mail-in repairs became so crazy. You guys have the most fucked up shit I have ever met in my entire life. You guys, gaming laptops. If you own a gaming laptop, something's wrong with you guys, man. Something's up. If you saw that one over there with the Gooch friggin' fingerprints on there, something is wrong with you guys. I don't know what it is, but something's wrong. But real talk, it was always a motherboard issue. Every single one of it, it was just a motherboard issue on every single one. And I have those people in the comments, why don't you just repair the motherboard? You're not a real technician. It's not worth repairing. It is not worth my labor to sit there under a microscope with a hunch for 4 hours without a schematic trying to find some fucking fault on a little piece of shit. Not worth my time, man. It's God bless you guys that do it. You guys are the best. I love that you guys do it because somebody needs to do it. But they'll even tell you if they do it for content, they're doing it for content and it's not profitable. It's not worth it. It's great that they save it from a landfill, but so as of June, that was it, man. Now I'm focusing on selling computers. Because things are made so unrepairable, I'd rather sell you something that can be repaired for the same price as you go out and buy something from Walmart for like 300 bucks that can't be repaired. I'd rather sell you something that'll last longer so that you don't ever end up in a repair shop like mine. That's my goal for 2025, is to go more into recycling these older laptops, these used ThinkPads, the used Dell Latitudes, the M1, M2 MacBook Pros and Airs, things that are worth purchasing. And I know somebody in the comments is gonna say, is a MacBook worth purchasing? Whatever. I want to provide people with reliable devices so that they won't ever have to go to a repair shop that probably won't exist in a few years because the industry is toast. That's where I see my 2025 going. My 2024 has already led me to the point where repairs are just simply not profitable anymore. And along with that, I need to be more careful with what sponsors I take on, because the last thing I need is to promote a company that is not friendly for the consumer. So that's what I plan on doing going into 2025, is being more specific and doing more research before I take a sponsor. With that said, I do thank all the sponsors that have helped me out so far in 2024. You've made it so that I can actually close these doors and provide a living for my family. So eventually, I think I will outgrow this space. I mean, even right now, I'm kind of outgrowing this space. It's tiny, and this is also why every time someone says, "Hey, can I come work for you?" The answer is no, you can't, because there's nowhere for you to go. I mean, I'm a small man. Do you see my wingspan here? There's literally nowhere for you to go. That is the story of my journey, the journey of the store, the journey of my YouTube career, and the journey of my personal life. That's where I am. And now I'm going to CES. 2024, I got 1 million subscribers, I think was this year. I got 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Next year, I'll probably hit 1 million on Instagram. I'm pretty close. TikTok might not even exist next year, so who fucking knows what I'm gonna have on that platform. But 2024 has been insane. And it's all because of you guys. If you made it this long in the video, it's because of people like you. People that watch the long forms, people that watch the short forms, that buy merch, buy laptops, support me, leave comments, you know, all that stuff. If I didn't have you guys, I would not be where I am today for anything. I wouldn't be able to help out my parents. My mom has dementia and my dad has congestive heart failure, and he's taking care of her, and that sucks. But if it weren't for you guys, I would not be able to help them out where they need the help. Yeah, that's my 2024 so far. That's the wrap up, and that's the journey so far. I'm hoping to make another video next year of the journey for next year. This year has been wild. All the antics we've done, all the stuff you've seen, all the shorts I've made. This has been my year. And I'm hoping next year will also be the greatest year that's ever lived. Yeah, I think that's it. That wraps it up. Thank you all so much for watching. There is no sponsor in this video, so go ahead, buy used laptops that we have on our store, buy merch, buy everything, buy drugs. I don't care. Don't buy drugs. But thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Lupe, Cash App, Lupe G1.